Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar about our solution, Libelium Scanner. My name is Sandra Pradilla, and I am Senior Sales Manager of Smart Cities Projects at Libelium. So today we are going to talk about our recently case study launch about Manchester Airport and our partner Innotech, who has developed our technology with their software platform Crowded as an end-to-end solution. So today we are going to explain the main features of Libelium scanner solution and how Innotech have helped Manchester Airport to be more efficient applying IoT technology in their instances. So the webinar is going to have three different blocks. The first one will be about Libelium scanner technical specifications and some possible applications that we have seen clearly in the market. And also, I will talk about Manchester Airport case study and how was the main features and challenges that we had on it. And finally, we will have the collaboration of Liam Wright, and he will be talking about Crowded software platform and some of the experience that they have faced in Manchester Airport cases. After all this webinar session, we will have some time for questions. Please be aware that English will be the only language spoken during the whole session. So if you have any doubt, please make your questions in English. Okay, so let's start with it. First of all, I would like to make a point in the difference between Libelium Gateway and Libelium Scanner. They look like the same device, but they are not. Their functionalities are quite different. Well, on the left-hand side of this slide, we can see Libelium Gateway, which is gathering information from different sensing nodes that are sending the data through different communication protocols. As you might know, Libelium receives the data from XB802.15.4, 868, and also 900 for American market. Also Wi-Fi or 4G cellular protocol. So that will be Libelium as a gateway, receiving data from different nodes installed on the field. And then we have on the right-hand side Libelium Scanner. It's a device which gathers information or gathers the signals that are sent out from devices with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So this webinar is going to be about just Libelium Scanner device, its technology, and how it becomes an IoT solution for gaining business intelligence. Libelium Scanner is able to detect any device working with Wi-Fi or Bluetooth interfaces. So these devices are detected without the need of being connected to any specific access point. And this detection enables us to know whether it has been detected as a smartphone or a laptop or maybe a hands-free device into Libelium Scanner coverage in a certain point and in a certain time. So Libelium Scanner will give us some information about the devices detected. And with this information, we can use some maths that we can get a better idea of how many users and some information about their location based on their signal strength. So what is the information that this Libelium Scanner gives us? What is the information that we will get? So the information we will have will be the MAC address of the wireless interface. So this will allow us to identify the particular number that identifies a unique device. This is like a car's plate, so any device has a number that is unique. So messenger scanner will give us this information about that smartphone or that laptop or that specific device. Also, we will be able to know the location of this device scanned through their strength of the signal. So we will be capable to know where the distance of this device is scanned between it and a scanner through the RSSI signal. Also, we will know the vendor, whether it is Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, or any other brand, and the name of the Wi-Fi access point where the users are connected, if there is any, and also the Bluetooth friendly name. In case that the users are not connected to any access point, the device will be shown as free users. Also, we will get the COD, the class of device, so we will be able to know whether it is a smartphone or a laptop or a hands-free, and this is an information very useful because we will be able to know what device comes from, maybe a car or is a vehicle, or whether it is a pedestrian walking around. Well, with all this information that we get from messenger scanner, we can see, or we have detected two main applications in the market. So in the first one, monitoring shopping centers and street activity, we will be able to know the number of people that are walking daily through a street. So this will give us information about maybe who are people who are resident in there, and who maybe are just visitors or people passing by but not living in the area. Also, we will be able to know what is the average time, so how long they stay in a certain area, in a certain point. And when we are talking about shopping centers, that is a very useful information because we will be able to know what are the hottest areas of a shopping center. We will be able to know what are the walking routes that people are following, and therefore we will, with all this information about the consumer behavior, we will be able to plan offers or launch special promotions or even design a business strategy, because we will be capable to know more about our target, and this information will be very useful in terms of how we plan our marketing actions. As a second and also very important application, we will be talking about vehicle traffic monitoring. Mostly, we will be able to give us the number of vehicles passing by a certain point. Also, we will be able to know the average time that vehicle stays in a certain point. That means if we get the same MAC address being scanned in different times, following times, I mean, like, for example, at 12 a.m., at 12 or 10 past 12, quarter past 12, that means that that car is being stopped in the same place for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes, and that will give us the idea of that there is a traffic jam and there is a congestion that we need to solve. And that will give us the information and the knowledge to know, okay, we need to give an alternative route in order to solve this situation. Also, if we get messenger scanners installed in two different points, we will be capable to know what is the speed of that car or that vehicle, because we will get the time stamp of this car is scanned in one point and then in the following one. So therefore, applying some maths, we will be capable to know the speed. So as you can see, there is many information that we can get, And with this information, we can play and we can apply some algorithm in order to get the proper knowledge that we will need and will be useful for what we need to do. The typical range in a circle that measuring scanner detects is around 20 meters, or we have an estimation of a maximum of 50 meters around the device itself is the range that we can get in mind when we start and we see the area that we want the scanner to act. I would like to show you how the data is extracted by the device. We see here two examples of the data scanned by Libelium. The first one will be Wi-Fi scanner, and the one on the bottom will be. And well, this is the information that we get from Libelium scanner. What happens when we are facing a customer, or when a customer they want to find a solution, because this is how data is extracted, but this data might need an analysis, might need a dashboard, a nicer way to see it or to analyze it or to just recommend it. So for that reason, we partner with companies that they have their software development. They have, as for example, Notec in this case that we went together to Manchester airport with their platform. Well, and now we are going deeply into the case study. So the challenge was mainly to understand the flows and to know, well, the volume of passengers that they have per day. Also, being able to track people. I mean, in terms of knowing where people were was walking around, and therefore being able to avoid some bottlenecks at some points in some gates. Maybe they could happen, and also well, learning and in terms of preventing and apply the security that if we get a volume of people, it is required. Well, so 6 different devices were implemented in Manchester Airport. We need to know that this airport is one of the busiest airports in the UK, and well, more than 27 million passengers per year were registered in 2017. So their aim was obviously to monitor the volume of people and avoid some issues with volume of people, but also what they wanted was to expand their capabilities in order to manage more than 50 million of passengers annually. So that was their main aim, why they get in contact with Innotech and this technology was implemented. So Libelium scanner was deployed in 6 different points, and the data gathered was transmitted directly to Crowded, which is the platform for the visualization of the data and the analytics. And in this way, the customer, Manchester Airport, was capable to predict the needs of the people and therefore apply safety routes or just the evaluation of the moment and being able to react until when they had a situation. So this is how our technology has helped Manchester Airport and how Innotech went to it, giving a solution, an end-to-end solution, combining Libelium technology and their software platform, Crowded. And now I'm gonna give the word to our guest, Liam Wright, who is gonna talk about Crowded platform. He's gonna give you a better idea how it works, what is the information transformed into knowledge that the platform gave us, and he will give us a little bit more details of how the challenges have been for the airport in Manchester project.
Hello and welcome to this segment of the webinar. We're going to be going through the crowded application with regards the airport project, which is up for discussion. My name's Liam Wright from InnoTech Insights, and I'll be talking with you today. As you can see, we're ready to go. This is the output page, the reporting page of the airport project we're discussing today. This top section is just a snapshot view of the overall numbers. We see overall volume, average dwell time, then we've got dwell times by day, and then it delves into some more in-depth outputs. But just up at the top here, we can see that we've got buttons for everything all together, and then you can simply dip in and out of each individual location. Now, obviously with this particular project being an airport, this was absolutely key in the end user being able to identify volume numbers at each location and identify which were busiest at what times. As you can see, the daily results button there shows a depth of colour chart, which is again a nice, easy, simple to see output for busiest times of day. We've got a percentage of overall volume there with the total volume, and again average dwell times at each location. I'm just going to go back to the all page so we can discuss at more length the other more map-based and chart-based outputs. This was a single day project, so there's only one line with the total by days. If this was a monthly report, for instance, on a permanent installation or just a long-term temporary, we would break this down into weekly or monthly segments depending on the end user's preference. Again, Crowded is specifically built for end client interaction, and that's where the simplicity comes in. This is for end users such as an airport that want to own its data and have constant access to the latest information available. At the moment, we run with the latest up to the latest 24 hours, which updates every midnight on a permanent installation, with in development a more live or show me now option, as it were, which is great for meetings or any other reason where you'd need that immediacy of information. But as is, we have up to the latest 24 hours, as well as any archived information in public sector permanent installations. We have an average of 5-year contracts, which, without delving too far away from this particular project, offers an insane amount of legacy data, which helps with predictive and just other seasonal changes and such, which again with airports would be absolutely ideal. So moving on from dwell times, we've got some map-based outputs. We've got area coverage, which seems like a strange one. I'm going to zoom in, but actually again, because it's direct to the end user, it just gives them a simple to understand reference to the scanning area coverage of each location. Now this is good. We dedicate a lot to antenna development and scanning methods, which really optimize both sample rate and area coverage, we can achieve a directional antenna of 3 miles, or we can really pinpoint down to a doorway, an escalator, a corridor, and such, which really in an instance like this can just help with this point-to-point journey information, which we're going to lead into, as well as other things. It's just good to be able to see what each location can see. To the right of that is a popular locations map, which is playable in hourly segments. So we're going to go through this. We'll go to later in the day and see how that changes. So depending on the time of day or when flights come in, for instance, you can see predetermined locations which become the busiest and which become the quietest, which is always an interesting section, and people tend to use that more than even we anticipated. Moving down from there, we've got the one most people are interested in, particularly in an airport or public transport hub environment. We've got popular routes. At the moment, we show the 3 most popular routes, again in a playable map format in hourly segments, which is not just 2 points, as you can see on the map on the right there. We've got a 3-point location journey, and across the top it'll say from which location to which location. In this case, we've just called them scanner A to F, I believe. But depending on your project, that could be, so-and-so street and, or front door entrance or terminal 2, etc. And it shows average journey time of that most popular journey within that hour. So we'll go there. Or to the next one, you'll see scanner B to A, 4.1 minutes, and that's not only is that probably our most popular output at the moment, it's set for incredible growth, driven by things like high-profile airport projects such as this one, where a true comprehensive origin and destination matrix, which is a commonly used format in data collection, but in its current form, spreadsheet format, for instance, it's as comes, whereas what we're going to do with Crowded is you're going to be able to see number of journeys from point to point across your entire project, but also reach into that chart and pull out things like these visual maps, journey times and such, and really gain an in-depth insight into how people are moving around an airport at what time, and really pair that up with what influences that. Down we go into more traditional format charts, so visitors by day, each line represents their location. We have 5 or 15-minute sections, which tend to be industry standard depending on client preference, so we decided to offer both. Down we've got visitor volume again, but instead of by day, we've got by location. So again, if this was multiple days, you'd see a more in-depth pattern or a pattern set emerging here, where if we just go through each location, it'll show you again in 5 or 15-minute blocks, depending on your preference, across each location individually. And the interactive nature of the richness of the data that the scanner in question can achieve, and what Crowded does with it really offers that next level or next generation of data interrogation. The bottom one here is the same chart, exactly the same chart, but with dwell times. Again, across, I can reach into each location and see where the spikes and the dips were in waiting times, for instance, or bottlenecks, queues, etc. which for obvious reasons in an airport is absolutely essential in optimizing facilities, routes, visitor experience, any retail outlets, and of course terminal waiting times, check-in times, etc. This obviously can be linked into VMS signs or other what we like to call dialogue based rather than purely collecting data. Obviously this not only can it feed live to the client from managerial or modelling purposes, but it can also feed that information to your visitor, which obviously has clear benefits. If we just shoot back up to the top, now this is part of our demo pages now. Obviously any interested parties are welcome to ask for a demo account where you'll be able to see this and several other archived projects. It does lack some parts are missing, such as raw data download. So up at the top here, for each individual location we would have a anonymized, of course, raw data download, which is there basically. See, Innotech Insights aren't simply a commercial outlet. We're a research facility, and as such, you publish your findings, and we want to help clients. We work for consultancies, not just end clients, but consultancies that want to interrogate the data themselves, perform their own maths, and it's essential we provide that. It enables us to show a level of transparency that isn't readily available in the market, and we're incredibly proud of it. On the topic of end client, this is Crowded's built, and again it's enforced by the capabilities of the hardware, but Crowded's built to serve the end client. This is people movement made simple is a mantra because it's all about the end user. We want to literally reach over current market, and while integrating with current market, we want to be able to offer an immediacy and a simplicity of this information to an airport itself. Crowded is built for temporary and permanent installation, but with a permanent installation in something like an airport such as this one, we'll have live information. Again, our projects, our standard public sector or transport projects, permanent projects are 5 years. That's a lot of archived information, and they'll have all of it available to them at any given time, which is essential, for management of their own information, and they'll own that information outright, which we're very excited about that. So we've discussed what's coming with regards routing, but there are some other exciting developments coming within the next 3 to 6 months, which include environment sensors, such as obviously gases, but more interestingly noise, particularly in an area such as an airport. So we'll be able to monitor footfall, journeys, volume and noise pollution, gas pollution, any water levels and externals, runways. So lots of exciting news. As well as that, perhaps not as relevant, or maybe just as relevant in airports as cities, but primarily developed for cities, we're integrating local crime information, which will form part of that legacy data and really show in depth how crime goes up against and fares against people movement. So all relevant, but at the moment that's airport journeys. My name's Liam Wright. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and I'm sure we'll be opening up for questions. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Liam, for your presentation and explanation. Now I would like to start with the question time, so please be free to ask Liam or myself any doubt that you might have. We'll be glad to help and give you all the information you might need.
we have seen that there is a lot of doubts about the protection policy and the MAC addresses scanned by the device itself. Well, especially from AVI. So, well, I will give you, well, myself and Liam, or Liam and myself, will give you a better explanation through email, or we will have a personal call with you if you agree. And maybe I think we can talk about this out of this chat. As Liam has already said, well, the protection depends on each country, but please bear in mind that a scanner is not giving any personal information about the people who has been scanned. All that the scanning will give us is the MAC address of the device scanned, the access point that is the device connected to, in case that there is, and some information as the one that I have already shown in my presentation. So it's general, it's anything about what is the name of a person with, who is wearing that device, or any personal information about the people who has been scanned. So apart from that, we can also say MAC addresses change. Yes, as we know, the last smartphone that has been launched in the market, they have that capability. This is not something general. In case of Android, they will just change their MAC address if the user activate that option. In the case of Apple, then the last phones, they have been settled with this change of the MAC address. Obviously, if a MAC address changes, the device is not going to be capable to recognize that it was the same device scanned twice. So yeah, I mean, that is the main fact to be in mind. So, well, any other question? Curious to see the capture, right? Changes in the antenna, YouTube. Well, in the presentation I showed how the information is scanned by messenger scanner is being shown, but I'm gonna send you a link where you can see an example of what is the information is scanned shown by messenger scanner. Give me a second and I give you the right link. There you go. So if you go to that link and you scroll down, you will be able to see that messenger scanner gives you the timing, obviously, on when a specific MAC address or a device has been detected. The RSI, which is the distance between the MAC, the device, and messaging gateway, and then the vendor will just give in the brand of the device scanned. That's all, not personal information about the person who handles the device. What else we have here of pricing? Yeah, price is around 1,600 euro per device. And actually, I would like to show you a kit that we have in our IoT marketplace, where we are combining two messaging scanners with a crowded platform from Innotech. So yeah, I mean, it is, well, Innotech is given a trial time for testing their platform with this kit. And the price, as you can see, is 3,900 for the 2 devices, plus the 2 hours of consultancy in case of any issue or trouble with the device and the configuration of it, and the trial time from crowded platform. Yes, the documentation about this this device, I'm gonna send it to you. Well, as I explained at the beginning of the webinar, there are 2 different models of Meslium: Meslium Gateway and Meslium Scanner. So Meslium Gateway is a gateway from 802.15.4, 4G, Wi-Fi, and 868 or 900 when we are talking about the US. And we have a technical guide that I'm gonna send you. And in this technical guide is where you can you can have a look to the section of Meslium Scanner. Give me 1 second. Now, this is the technical guide of Meslium, and it is a quite large guide. So Meslium Scanner starts in page 170, if I am not wrong. Yeah, 218. What else? Case study in your website. Yes, we have many case studies in our website. If you go, actually with Meslium Scanner, we have 3 different case studies. The one launched last week about Manchester Airport that we have just talked about. Also, another one that was deployed by Innotech Insight as well in Bolton in the UK, where it was monitored. It was monitored a food truck, and well, how do you say that? A festival of a food and drink festival. So they were monitoring where people was moving, what were the hottest areas of the festival itself, and also, I mean, not just for knowing how many people are assisting to the main event, also in terms of providing the security, the appropriate security to it. It was a great solution. Thanks, Liam. Bolton Food Festival. I meant that. I'm gonna send the link to our case studies. There you go. Yeah, I send it. No estoy mandando. Okay, so, well, yeah, there you have. We presented this solution for monitoring airports, which is the latest case study that we have launched, but something that we can add, or a solution for the IoT that we can add to Meslium Scanner, is the monitoring of air quality and also the noise that is being emitted in airports. We have a case study in Atenas where we were monitoring air quality and other pollution like noise that were happening in there. So here we see a clear idea of what the Internet of Things can help, or how the Internet of Things can help to airports. And well, at the end, an airport is a combination of a smart building with a smart city. So that is something that we can go and deploy and give many different benefits to the management of this kind of airports or applications. So, well, thanks, Liam. It has been a pleasure to share with you this webinar. Thanks, everyone, for being there. We are just about to finish this webinar. We will be glad to get back to you and respond more questions or doubts that you might have. Please send an email to sales@libelium.com. And yeah, I mean, we will get back to you and we'll give you all the information that you might need. Thanks again for being here. If you want to listen again or to see again this webinar, will be published tomorrow in our website. So yeah, I mean, you can listen it and watch it over it if required. Thanks everyone for being there, and I hope to talk to you soon. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.